Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuhu. Rabbi shrah li sadri wa yassir li amri wa hlul uqdatan min lisani yafqahu qawli. Rabbana zidna ilma. Allahumma faqihna fid din. Allahumma inni as'aluka ilman nafi'a wa rizqan tayyiba wa amalan mutaqabbala. Ameen ya Rabbil Alameen. So here we are with our session number 181 for Quranic Arabic grammar, in which we are doing Surf and Nahw of Surah Taha. So let's begin. Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim. In our last session, we were learning about types of innama. How many types can there be for innama? Is every innama that we see in Quran going to be ma kafa wa makfufa, or there is a possibility of harf nasb wa ismuha? So it is very important. It is very important that you must know that not every innama or annama are going to be kafa wa makfufa. Though they are the most common types, kafa wa makfufa is the most common possibility that is found in Quran, but you must look out for the other possibility. There is a room that there may be innama or annama, that is a combination of harf nasb wa ismuha, in which case ma is ismiya and mausula and is nasb in status. When you see kafa wa makfufa, what is the status of ma in that case? If ma is ma kafa, what will be the status of ma after inna? Barakallahu feek. Yes, it is la mahalla laha min al-i'rab, because ma kafa is a harf. Ma kafa is a harf and it has no i'rab. Any harf in Quran is going to be la mahalla laha min al-i'rab, and it is ma, that is zaida and kafa. Do you see any ma that is zaida harfiya and ghair kafa? Can there be a ma that can be present after a harf and it is a ghair kafa? Barakallahu feek. Which are the haruf that we very commonly see are followed by ma? Yes, but that is, yes, that is also, yes, ghair kafa, because it does not prevent in from acting on the fail after it. Even if the ma is present after in shartiya, the mudare is still majzoom after it. And then when we look at the ism side of things, we have examples of bima naqdihim, right? Naqdi is with a kasra because of b, and there is ma that is present between harf jar and it's a majroor, and ma is not stopping b to make naqdi jar. It is still letting it do its action, so it is not a stopping ma or a blocking ma. So keep in mind that there may be cases where ma is going to be seen, and it is going to be harfiya, it is going to be zaida, but it is not going to be kafa. Does it make sense? Is it clear to you all that not every ma that is harf and that is zaida is going to be blocking an action of a harf or an ism after which it is found? Give me an example of ma zaida that is seen between ism shart and the sentence after this ma is still fi mahalli jar. Any example that comes to your mind? Give me an example where you see a ma zaida that is ghair kafa and it is seen between adwatu shart and whatever follows adwatu shart. In between adwatu shart and whatever follows adwatu shart, there is a ma there, but the status of what is after ma is jar. It is not jazm, it is jar. Whatever is seen after, it does not make a fail mudari majzoom. It is the status of the sentence after ma is jar. Imma, if you see imma, whatever comes after imma, it's going to be majzoom. The fail after imma is going to be fi mahalli jazmin, right? And it is going to be having an attached nunu sakila. Huh? I want a sentence with a jar status. I want something with a jar status after ma that is ghair kafa. Can I say iza mabtala, iza mabtala? That iza is a word that is going to be seen in the beginning. Ma comes and it is zaida. And if I look at the sentence ibtila, it is still fi mahalli jar. Yes or no? Let's see a few examples here. If I find something here. No, but there is, no, I don't have any ma examples in, okay. It doesn't matter. Is my question not making sense to you guys? Is it too complicated? Okay, so let me, just show you what I want to ask you here. Okay, let me see here. Okay, 1 second, just a second, and we'll see this example and then we'll start our session. Bismillah. Okay, here I have Iza, copy. Okay. Iza. Okay. Here, can you see here? وَإِذَا مَا أُنزِلَتْ سُورَةٌ مِّنْهُمْ. Or let me just, find another, good example. Whenever you are going to see iza, ma, and iza, is one of the adwatu shart, ghair jazima. So whenever you see, I just want to, whatever comes after it is going to be jar in status despite ma present between that. And also Surah Al-Baqarah has very good examples, and that can be the example of lamma. So I think I can go there too. I can show you that too. Um, hmm. Hmm. Okay. No, it's not going to. Here in this surah. Yeah. So hatta iza ma ja'uha. Yeah. So that example, and then here, when you see kullama ruziku. If I asked you what is the status of this sentence, ruziku minha, what will be the status of this sentence? Fi mahalli jarrin. Do you see ma zaida after kulla? Kulla is light, right? No alif lam coming up as mudaf to, and the status of ruziku minha min samaratin rizqa is going to be fi mahalli jar because it is mudaf ilayhi, right? Ma is present, it is still not blocking anything. It's still letting kulla act on jumlatul failure that is coming after ma. Okay, so keep those things together. I know it is hard when you are asked, orally anything and without giving you when I don't give you an example. But inshallah, we have to keep all these types of mas in our mind that are zaida and that are ghair kafa too. Okay, inshallah. So with that, I'm going to begin my Surah Taha, inshallah. Bismillah Rahman Rahim. Okay, let's see here. So here, the last time, in a couple of sessions before, we have went over a harf bal. Did we give any i'rab to bal? Among the three categories, we figured out that this is harf la mahalla laha min al-i'rab, right? It is harf la mahalla laha min al-i'rab. So I wanted you to learn about bal a little bit today. Actually, I meant to teach you that in the last session, but Alhamdulillah, we were not able to do that. But inshallah, with the izn of Allah Subhanahu wa Taala, we'll do it today. So what bal do is it's going to have, first of all, you must know whenever you see bal, it is going to be a harf, and this harf is going to have no i'rab. The second thing that you need to learn about bal is it is for idrab. And what is idrab? Idrab means to turn away from something, to reject something. So what is idrab? Linguistically, it means to turn away from or to reject. I hope this is clear so far. When it comes to anwa'u bal, which means types of bal, it is of two types. It can be intiqali or it can be ibtali. Intiqali or ibtali. Intiqal means to shift. Ibtal means to nullify, to say something is false. So far, is it clear? If it is, type 1. Bal can be of two types. It can be intiqali, to shift from one topic to another. Ibtali means to nullify, to say something is false. Okay? So it is of two types. You must know when we say that somebody is has died or they have matlab unka intiqal ho gaya, so do they shift from one world to another world? What do you think? Is there any there a shift from one place to another? Yes, from dunya they are now in alim barzakh, right? So there is an intiqal. So keep in mind from that shift that there is a bal that can be intiqali, where there is no rejection of previous speech, but rather you are moving from one topic to another topic. Okay? Bal that is intiqali, in this type of bal, you are just going to see no rejection. What I want you to focus on is there is no rejection of the previous speech. Will you all keep that in mind? The statement that is before this type of bal is not rejected by bal coming after the statement. For example, when Allah says, وَذَكَرَ اسْمَ رَبِّهِ فَصَلَّى, and he mentions the name of his Rabb, and then he prays, بَلْ تُؤْثِرُونَ الْحَيَاةَ الدُّنْيَا, rather you prefer the life of this world. What is happening here? Do we see just a shift from one topic to another? Or is this bal rejecting this verse number 15? Is there any rejection? Not only shift, I want you to focus that there is also no rejection of whatever the previous speeches. Because if I want you to learn 2 points about bal intiqali, those will be, you are going to start from number 1, no rejection, and then rather simply, the things are moving, flowing from one topic to another topic. Make sense? Will you remember this for me? When we are going to talk about bal intiqali, it's going to be just no rejection of the previous speech, and there is just a shift from one topic to another topic. When it comes to bal ibtali, what is going to happen? The previous speech is going to be rejected, okay, and is corrected by what follows bal, okay? Ibtal, to nullify, to see something is batil. Batil means falsehood, right? So to say something is false or certain speeches, we reject whatever has been said before. And then after bal, a statement comes that is going to tell you the right, what comes after bal is going to be the corrected state speech. Okay. So here, yaquluna bihi jinnah, or they say he has madness. Bal ja'ahum bil haq, rather he came to them with the truth. So is there rejection of what came before? Is this bal rejecting? Yes or no? What do you think? It is rejecting what was said. Because a madman is not going to come to you with the truth. A madman does not have the true sense of truth and falsehood. Do you agree to, right? That there is no true sense of truth and falsehood for a madman, right? Here, bal came, bal rejected the previous statement, which was yaquluna bihi jinnah, and then the statement that follows it is a correct statement. Rather, he came with what is true. When you look at Surah Taha, bal alqu, the statement before was qalu ya Musa imma an tulqiya wa imma an nakuna awwala man alqa. Qala bal alqu. Did Musa alayhi salam reject whatever was said before? Did Musa alayhi salam reject? There is only a shift. There is only a shift. There is no rejection. So is it ibtali or intiqali? What are you going to call this one? There is intiqal here or there is ibtal. Intiqali. Very well done. There is intiqal. There is no ibtal. Everyone with me so far? Hmm? So these are fine details of Bal that you are expected to learn, and slowly and surely we will continue to practice, and we'll make sure that this concept stays with us and we solidify our concepts. Okay. So what is the purpose of Bal? It is going to turn away, or the purpose can be to shift and turn away. Okay. So sometimes the turning away will be just moving from one topic to another without rejection of the previous speech. Sometimes you are going to see that the previous speech is rejected and is followed by what is correct. Okay. So now let's start with the last part of verse number 69, which is La yuflihu sahiru. Simply, your sentence is starting with Wala yuflihu. What kind of a sentence you are seeing here? Jumlatul failure, wow, you can, Innama sanau kaidu sahir. So what kind of a wow you are going to label it as? Is this wow, you are going to call it atf? Okay. Okay. How many of you agree with Sister Faiza? She's calling it atf, it seems like. Agree? Okay, so okay, you want to call it atf. Can there be a possibility of hal? Yes, Barakallah feek, Sister Zora. I was coming to that. So can there be a possibility of hal? Yes, you can call it waw halia too. Okay, we can keep both options open. If that is waw halia, what will be the status of jumla after it? If the waw is labeled as waw halia, the status of the sentence following waw halia is going to be fi mahalli nasbin. La is going to be la nafiya ghair amila lil mudari, right? From the types of la that was ghair amila does not bring any change to i'rab of what follows. Therefore, it is called ghair amila, and it is simply la nafiya, and it is for mudare, and yuflihu is going to be fail mudare marfu bidmatu zahira wal fa'il as-sahiru. You all agree that the outside doer in this case is as-sahiru. Okay. Then comes haythu ata. What is haythu here? How are you going to label haythu? It is a zarf. When something is a zarf, what should be the status? If something is a zarf, the status is going to be nasb, right? If it is going to be coming up as, if a zarf is coming up as a detail of a fail, it must be nasb status. Okay, it must be nasb status when it is seen in a sentence or a jumlatul failure as a detail. Any detail is going to be nasb status. So what happened to haysu here? Can we call it that it is non-flexible with dhamma on it? Mabni ala dham fi mahalli nasbin. Can we call it, label it like that? Alhamdulillah, we are going to label it like that, and we are going to call haythu as muta'alliq bil yuflihu, right? So then comes ata. What kind of a word are you seeing following haythu? It's a past tense, okay? If it is a past tense, after determining the past tense, you are going to see what is the file in this past tense. The file in the past tense is huwa, right? There is nothing after the last root letter, which was ya, and got changed into alif, right? Whenever ya and waw are preceded by a letter with a fatha, they get changed into alif, and that is how you mostly write it. Ata, with two counts, you are going to read it, but this alif is coming from ya. Ata ya. The root letters are hamza ta ya. Ata ya became ata because ya was preceded by a fatha, and this is fail madin wal fa'il damir mustatir hua. The damir is not visible. When I look at this haisu, it brings back memory of something that we have covered in our third term or fourth term. And anyone remembers? Anyone remembers? Whenever you see haisu, iza, is, hina, I told you that, please, 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 my dear students, whenever you have is, iza, yoma, hina, lamma, kullama, haisu, think about these words as special mudafs. Think about these words as special mudafs. And what is special about them? Do you see? Mostly these words are going to be followed by a sentence that is going to be fi mahalli jarin because they are mudafun ilayhi. Do you all agree? Anyone, if you don't want to remember anything, whenever you want to do anything with complex idafa, just memorize. Just memorize these 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 words. Is, iza, yoma, hina, lamma, kullama, haisu. Among them, yoma can be seen in the heavy form too. So is hina, and there can be other purposes of is and iza and lamma, right? Do you all remember that? That sometimes they can be harf too, and in that case, they are not going to be labeled as mudaf. But if you see them as mudaf, the sentence after them is going to be mudafun ilayhi. Yoma and hina can have an ism after them coming up as mudaf ilayhi as well. So keep all those details in mind, because this has been taught to you in detail in your class where you are going to when you were taught complex idafa. At that time you were asked to memorize these 7 words, okay? Because they are going to be followed by a sentence that is going to be mudafun ilayhi for them. So I did go over in those sessions with you that yoma can have a simple word, yomul qiyamati, a simple idafa too. But then yoma may be followed by jumlatul failure, as we can see here, yomul taqa al jama'ani. So here, can you see how yoma is followed by Jumlatul failure, that is, it's mudaf ilayhi and is going to be fi mahalli jarrin. In case of Surah Ali Imran, verse number 30, you are seeing tajidu. Jumlatul failure, that is mudaf ilayhi for yawma. And the status of all these sentences, this one is going to be fi mahalli jarrin, mudaf ilayhi, because yawma is light, has no alif lam. Does it refresh in your memory about yawma and all these special mudafs? Alhamdulillah. So there was the word that we have here. I want you to focus on that too. I hope I have few examples of that in these slides. Is there is haisu. So if I ask you the status of kharajta following haisu, what will be the status? In Surah Al-Baqarah, verse number 149, what is going to be the status of Jumlatul Failya kharajta? It is going to be fi mahalli jarin because it is mudaf ilayhi for word haisu, right? Mudaf ilayhi, therefore it is going to be fi mahalli jarin. Please, please, please. These are the, bread and butter of your Arabic grammar. We cannot forget about these sentences, okay? Inshallah. So now if I come here and I asked you the status of fail madin, wal fa'il, this jumlatul failya, fail madin, wal fa'il, damir mustatir huwa, it's going to be fi mahalli jar, okay? Now comes your, next sentence that can be, that is starting with fa, that can be labeled as faul atf, litartib wa taqib, and there is a sentence that is following it. And how are you going to label that sentence? Can somebody tell me? Can somebody help me? Yeah, and it can be Fasiha too. Okay, so there was a sentence in Nama Sana'u. What they brought was um, um, a plot of a magician, and they don't succeed. The magician does not succeed whenever they come, whenever wherever he comes, and then ulkiya. So you can call it. You want to call it fasiha? Do you think there is a sentence embedded in there? Barakallahu feek. Yes, that can be absolutely correct answer too. Okay. So it can be labeled as atf or faul fasiha, and faul fasiha, means that there is a whole sentence that is embedded in this fa, and that was a matuf alayhi for ulkiya. So what can be there? Did they simply fell down to sajda or something happened? The story was Musa alayhi salam threw the staff. Musa alayhi salam threw the staff. Staff turned into snake. When the staff turned into snake, at that point the magicians were thrown into prostration. Right? Is this all the whole story make in the whole 9 yards make sense? Yes or no? And that is what Faul Fasiha is about, right? Faul Fasiha has a matuf alayhi embedded in it. Okay, it is, when Sister Faiza called it Faul Fasiha, the reason is that, it just did not happen that, Allah said to Musa alayhi salam, what is in your hand, you throw it, it will eat whatever they have created. No, Musa threw the staff. Musa alayhi salam threw the staff turned into a snake. Then, after they saw the staff turning into the snake, the magicians were thrown or cast into prostration. Right? Makes sense now? That how she picked it, that there was a whole story that this fa is that is embedded in this fa, which can be named Faul Fasiha. Faul Fasiha. Okay? So that can be the rationale by uh, because of which she said so. Okay, and then when you look at ulkiya, you are going to look at fail madin. You're looking at fail madin, and ue sound makes you think about what ue very you know it is majhul, right? Fail madin majhul, and the damir in this word is hua, right? Damir is hua, so it can be cancelled by an outside naibul file, which is as-saharatu. As-saharatu, the magician. It is a plural for sahir. It is a plural for sahir. What kind of a plural is as-saharatu? What do you think? We have learned almost 5 types of plurals. Is it sound plural, broken plural, ism jins jam'i, or is it your um ism jins ifradi, or what kind of a plural are you seeing? It's a broken plural, right? It is a broken plural. Sahir as-saharatu, broken plural, right? Makes sense? If it was, you cannot call it ism jins jam'i, because for ism jins jam'i, what was the rationale? It cannot be. The singular must have tamarbuta, right? The singular should have tamarbuta, or what is the second thing? It can have tamarbuta or yaun nisba, right? Yaun nisba or tamarbuta. But here the plural has tamarbuta, so it is simply your broken plural. You're very well known, and because I gave you a singular for that, cannot be some jama. So it has a singular, so it is going to be your broken plural or jama mukassar. So, and this is the naibul file for fi'l ulkiya. Sujjadan. What is sujjadan? What is it described? It's a hal for as-sahratu, right? It is a hal for as-sahratu. Barakallahu feek. Very well done. Any questions so far? Everyone is with me so far? I'm going to go ahead and look at the second sentence that is coming, that is following the first sentence, and the sentence begins with qalu. Qalu is going to be jumlatul failya wal fa'il wawil jama'a, and what follows qalu is mostly makulul qawl, which it is in this case. And this makulul qawl is again jumlatul failya wal fail madin with file naul fa'ilin, right? What is the status of na in amanna? What should be the status of na in fail amanna? Why is it rough in status? When you have learned every attached pronoun, especially na, can only be nasb or jar. It is naul fa'ilin, right? It is a doer pronoun. Remember, na can be rafa, na can be nasb, na can be jar. In word, na, when it comes to na, in this word, when you are looking at the na that is attached to the end of the fail, amanna, in fail amanna, because it is a doer, it is going to be a rough in status. Its name is naul fa'ilin, right? Yes, you can call it that, some may call it this jumlatul failure as a hal for a saharatu, that, they prostrate, they were cast into prostration, saying, we believed in the Rabb of Harun and Musa. Yes, Sister Diba, that can be correct too. Yeah. Makes everything makes sense, and we'll come back to the whole sentence once we look into the fine details of this. Okay, so and everyone and must remember the status of the pronoun na. The status of the pronoun na can be rafa, nasb, and jar. Okay, the status of pronoun na can be rafa, nasb, and jar. Okay, keep this thing in mind because this is very important concept, right? So we cannot forget it. The na can be rafa, nasb, and jar, right? So one second, I'm just going to quickly bring this. Second, if I do have, okay, short series, okay, short, let's see, short series. You have been given these in your notes too. So when you see it here, this one. It's, 1 second. Sorry, I'm just taking so long, but I want you to not forget about this one because this is very, very important concept that you must not forget at any point. Okay, because anyone and everyone in this class must know that this naul mutakallimin, which is first person plural pronoun, can be a raf when it is in fail madin, like in case of razaqna, it is fi mahalli rafa, right? Because it is a doer pronoun. When you see it here, razaqanallahu, Allah provided us. In this case, what's the status of na? It is maful bihi fi mahalli nasbin. When you say this word Rabbana, here there is an idafa. Na is mudaf ilayhi, and it is going to be fi mahalli jar. Is this clear to all of you? Afsha? Everyone? Right? Clear? Alhamdulillah. So it can be of any status. It can be, but it can be of any status, but it can be of one status only in any particular point. Okay. So here, amanna is going to be female mahalli raf'in because it is a naul fa'ilin. Bi rabbi jar wal majroor muta'alliq bil fail, and rabbi haruna wa musa. Rabbi haruna. What is relationship between rabbi haruna, my dear sisters? Can somebody tell me? Idafa and mudaf ilayhi must be what in status? It must be jar in status. Why is Harun not taking a kasra? It is mamnu min as-sarf. What are the two reasons for it to be mamnu min as-sarf or partly flexible? Why this word cannot take a kasra? Give me the two reasons. Okay, it is ism alam. Ism alam, it is a name. Ism alam means it's a name. Number two reason is ujma. It is non-Arab. It is a foreign name. There are two reasons. It is number one reason is it is an ism alam, and number two reason that you are going to give me is it is ujma. It is foreign name. Everyone with me? Ain, Jim, Meme, Ta marbuta. Ujma. Okay? Everyone must know the two reasons for Harun to be partly flexible, okay? And not being able to take a kasra. When it comes to wow, what are we seeing here? What kind of a fragment are we seeing here? There is a fragment which is called murakkabe atf. The first word Harun is going to be matuf alayhi. Wow is going to be labeled as harf atf, and Musa is going to be labeled as atf, right? Matuf, sorry. It is going to be labeled as matuf. What is going to be the status of Musa? What are going to be? It is going to be okay. It is okay. It is going to be jar in status. Why is it going to be jar in status? Because of atf. Very well done. Very well done. Because of atf. Because of atf, Musa is also going to be jar in status. Now, the is it going to show you its status? Is it going to be able to show you its status? It is not going to be able to, but can it have implied haraka? Can it have, yes, Afsha, muqaddara now comes. So will it have damatul muqaddara, kasratul muqaddara, or fathatul muqaddara? It will have fathatul muqaddara. Why it is not going to have kasratul muqaddara? Why not kasra on this Musa? It cannot take kasra because again it is partly flexible. Mamnu min as-sarf. Mamnu min as-sarf. Not mabni. No, not mabni. It is mamnu min as-sarf. We are giving it implied harakas, right? And now when I ask you, why is it going to have implied fatha? The reason you already gave me. Again, is some alam and ujma. Foreign name and is some alam. Takdiri haraka, implied haraka, is going to be fatha, and fatha is because is a substitute for the kasra. It is supposed to have a kasra, but because it is partly flexible, we can never say the implied haraka on this alif of Musa is kasra because the word is mamnu minas sarf. It's a non-Arab name. Is this clear to all of you? There is a lot of grammar when it comes to this partly flexible business, right? And we have been covering it from the beginning of Surah Taha. I have been giving you different slides. If you go back to your slides, you will find them that, the reasons for Ism Alam to be partly flexible. In Musa and Harun, there are two reasons. Their names, number one, Ism Alam, and the second reason is because they are foreign names. Okay, now let's go and see this whole sentence, Amanna bi Rabbi Haruna wa Musa, is going to be Makulul Qawl for fail Qalu, and it's going to be fi mahalli nasbin. Everyone agrees with that? That I can call that status of this fail, Jumlatul Failya is fi mahalli nasbin, right? And because it is Makulul Qawl. And then again, you are going to see there, some are saying that we can also would like to label this Jumlatul Failya as Hal, and in that case, you are going to label it as fi mahalli nasbin. Okay, at this stage, it can be labeled as hal fi mahalli nasbin. Do you all agree with that? That, while they were prostrating, they were saying, we have believed in the Rabb of Harun and Musa alayhi salam. Okay. Hal, how many types of hal have we learned? Hal can be a mufrad ism, right? Hal can be jumla. Hal can be shubu jumla, right? All those three types of reasons for a hal. Yes, the hal that we have gone over so far, right? That it can be a mufrad ism and it can be a jumla, or it can be shubu jumla, right? When it is mufrad ism, must match in number, right? And gender kind of a thing, right? When it's a sentence, it usually has an ayad, right? A pronoun that goes back to the main sentence, or it has waw halia, and we have learned the places when waw halia is there and when the waw halia can be omitted. Then we have gone over together from Surah Rahman, and this slide is from Surah Rahman, that sometimes your hal can come in the form of jar wal majroor or zarf. You all agree with that, right? Yes, so that is also something. Yeah, you mostly, that is why I originally did not say that, it's going to be jumla halia, because usually, or in the standard is like, how this there is a standard of everything, like, the sentence is going to be starting with certain word that will make it hal. Like sometimes you are saying wa antum tanzurun, like there is wow that is present between jumlatul ismiya, and then if it is fail madin, your hal is preceded by either qad or waqad. Do you all remember that, right? But at this stage, for now, if that's why, did you listen to what I said, that for now you can call it hal, okay? But remember, if your hal is jumlatul failya fail madin, your hal is jumlatul failya fail madin, it is going to be preceded by qad or waqad. Yes, there is a pronoun here, but that is for, for a connection, right, Sister Diba? That, when there is a pronoun here that goes back to as-saharatu, but that is how you are connecting the sentences together. But when it comes to the jumlatul haliya, when we learn about jumlatul haliya, we are going to learn that jumlatul haliya fi'l madin is preceded by either qad or waqad. If there is no pronoun, then it must have waw before qad. Otherwise, it is only going to start with qad. Here, we don't see qad. So if somebody says that I don't want to label it as jumlatul haliya, that is the reason why they don't want to label it that way, can be that there was no qad there. Okay. Does it make sense to all of you? Okay. So sometimes, you have certain things that, for now there is no problem, but inshallah in future, when we'll, yeah, so in that case, sometimes, there are certain questions that are there, not very obvious from the context. However, there is then Sister Zohra, that is why no qad. So usually when you are going to have fail madin as jumlatul haliya, it has either qad or waw with qad. Okay. If they are not there, there is another possibility that can be there for a sentence. Okay. At this stage, because still we are not in a very advanced stage yet, advanced but not that there yet. If someone wants to label it as jumlatul haliya, it does make sense, but you must keep that in mind, that there there must be this qad or waqad in the beginning of jumlatul haliya. There is something called knee jerk response. If you would have seen qad or waqad before qalu, immediately you should have labeled it as hal for as-sahratu, jumlatul haliya, hal for as-sahratu. But if somebody is not thinking about that, saying that there was no qad or waqad, that is that is, that we have learned is there before the beginning of jumla fail madin, then there can be another possibility for that, and that possibility we have not yet gone over. And but there are certain questions that are there, and the usually the istinaf biyani kind of a thing, but we have not covered that topic yet, so I'm not going to go over that at this stage. Okay. Does it make sense to all of you? And you can have this written in your notes that, for now, when I was doing everything, I would, just, for now I can call it this. But, for example, for most of you, if, most of us have learned pronoun na. How did we learn pronoun na? What did we learn about pronoun na? It is thus Burjar only, right? Everyone who has gone through a certain course, we have been taught that it can only be Naspurjar. But is it true now when we go over Amanna, kulna. Is it true that every pronoun na is only nasburjar? What do you think? You have learned the attached version ni is always nasb in status. Is it true? Is ni always nasb in status? Is ni ya mutakallim, the attached version of ya mutakallim ni, always nasb status? No, it can be jar in status too, because it is mandatory to use nunul waqaya with harf jar min and an. Remember, minni and ni. So now, is that information that you were learning in your kindergarten still applicable, or you have to learn few more things and find the most correct answers, right? So this is going to happen, but when you are going to learn all that, it's sometimes there's always a time for everything, right? That kindergarten, yes, it's very important that in kindergarten we were calling every na as nasburjar. Not anymore. Not anymore. We were learning every attached pronoun is either nasburjar, and we teach that too to students, right? To the beginners, every attached pronoun is nasburjar. But if I give you wow here, which is attached to fail kalu, right? What is the status of wow? It is rough in status. So that information that was given to you in your kindergarten, you cannot still apply it. You have to learn that no, not every attached pronoun, and this has been emphasized in this course time and again, that not every attached pronoun is going to be nasburjar. They are going to be rough in status too, right? When they are attached to a fail, they're going to be rough in status too. So simple things, and they are attached, right? You are seeing them attached to the end of the word. So, and same is going to be the case with this jumla failure kalu, okay? That there are things that you still have to learn. And for now, you can, for those of you who want to label it as hal, you can write, I have to learn more about this, how I'm going to connect this kalu to whatever has been mentioned before, okay? So then comes the next sentence. And before I take you to the next sentence, there are two types of hal. And I think when I was asking more questions, Sister Diba wrote something. Sister Diba, you wrote initially that the hal is of two types. Do you remember those two types of hal? You know, one is, mufrad ism, jumla, and shubu jumla. Then by itself, when you learn the, you know, hal, you are going to learn these two types too. You must know that sometimes hal can be muassasa and it can be muakkada. What is the meaning of muakkada? What is the meaning of muakkada? But it has to do something with tawqid for emphasis. And what is the most common way by which we bring emphasis in something? What is the most common method used for emphasis? Think about tawqid lafzi. What happens there? No, no. I'm asking about how you can emphasize something. Repetition, 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 repetition. Always remember, when you repeat something, number one principle or a method, if I ask you the method of, bringing emphasis in something is going to be the repetition, right? When somebody says, innahu huwa tawwabur rahim. So now this huwa, which is the mirul fasl, who was already there in innahu, right? And when I brings huwa, is it huwa not the repetition of who that was an attached pronoun with inna, right? And then it is bringing more emphasis, right? So keep those things in mind and think about those things. Sometimes the hal can be just muakkida. Hal can simply be muakkida. Arsalnaka, we sent you ilan nas, to the people. We sent you to the people. Rasula. This Rasula, Rasin Lam. Arsalna Rasula. Is there any connection there? We sent you to the people. When I say Arsalna, it means we sent you to the people. And who do you send to the people? You send a messenger to the people. So this Rasula, can we not say that this is a hal? It is not maful mutlaq, my dear sister. It is just it is your sigatul mubalagha, rasula. It is hal, and this is hal al muakkada, right? This can be an example of hal al muakkada. The same thing is being repeated. We sent you to people as a messenger. Rasin lam, Rasin lam, right? The same thing is being repeated. You send when you send something in a statement. I say if I send someone down, okay, I have sent Fatima to you, Sister Faiza. So it is Fatima. What is Fatima between me and Sister Faiza? She's a messenger between me and Sister Faiza, right? But if I have sent Fatima to you as a messenger, this messenger is adding as a messenger is a hal, and this type of a hal is going to be hal al muakkida. Okay, it is clear so far. فتبسم ضاحك ضاحك فتبسم ضاحكا. So what tabassama? What is tabassum? Smile. What is dahika? Is a laughter. Is a laugh. Dahak has to do with a laugh, right? Are they not the same things? Right? With the teeth shown and whatever you want to call it, right? So what kind of a hal is going to be dahikan? Is it muakkada or it is right? It is there for emphasis, right? It is muakkada, right? It is there for emphasis. Remember that. Okay, everyone with me so far? So it is, something that is bringing in more emphasis, right? So it is muakkida. It is bringing more emphasis to whatever has been mentioned before. But then there is another one that is not there for emphasis. It is muassasa. Okay, it brings an additional meaning. It brings an additional meaning to the sentence. For example, adal jeshu, the army returned. Muntasira, muassisa, muassisa or muassasa. Let me. I will double check the spellings for you for muassasa. Okay. I will have to double check the spellings. Okay, Sister Rabiha, I'm going to do that. So Adal Jeshu, the army returned. Muntasira, is Muntasira bringing an additional meaning? Okay, so the army returned victorious. Can it be Muakkida? Can I call it Muakkida, or I have to give it this new name, Muassisa? It is going to be this type of hal, muassisa. If I am bringing, so there's another type, and look at another example. Jalasat tulabu fil fasli. The students sat in the classroom. Muntabiha, muntabiha, attentively. Is muntabiha bringing an additional meaning? Yes. So it is going to be al-hal al-muassasa. Everyone with me so far? That in terms of what kind of a meaning anything brings, it's going to be either muakkida or muassisa. Okay. So if it is bringing an additional meaning, then it is going to be muassisa. Okay. So please keep that in mind. Okay. And there's a very beautiful example in Quran, and I want you to pay attention to this one. Okay. So let me see if you really understood this concept. Okay, and this is going to tell me that if you have understood this or not. Okay, let's see here. I hope I find mudbirin here. Or actually, let me go to Dubar. Okay, this is going to be easy. Summa wallaytum mudbirin. Summa wallaytum mudbirin. What is mudbirin here? Mudbirin is hal, right? Of tum, ta'ul file, the hal of ta'ul file. Barakallahu fi. Yes, it is going to be muakkada. It is the first type because mudbirin to turn back, right? Wallaytum to turn back, both, right? So now mudbirina is just emphasizing the previously said statement. It's just a repetition of that, right? So everyone got it now that like mudbirina is just the same different word is used for the same concept. So it is going to be muakkida. Hal, al-hal, al-muakkida, the first type that you are just been taught. Okay, just like dahikan was for tabassama, hal muakkada, rasulan, dahikan. It cannot be mutlaq. Why, what is mutlaq? Why are we going to call it mutlaq when it dahikan is ism file? It is ism file. Dahikan, same root letters. Dahikan is an ism file. Rasulan sigatul mubalagha, right? So masdar, these are not masadir, right? So there was another question I would like to, before I end the session today. I have 3 minutes, and before moving on to the next verse, there was a question asked by Sister Rabiha. Um, I want you to all look at this. فَقُولَا لَهُ قَوْلًا لَيِّنًا. So she was asking, can this قَوْلًا لَيِّنًا be hal? Now that you have learned some things, what do you think? What do you think about this being labeled as hal? فَقُولَا, so you two say to him, قَوْلًا لَيِّنًا. قَوْلًا, masdar, masdar, masdar. What is your first instinct? What is your first instinct about qawlan? When you are seeing the same root letters, you can call it either maful mutlaq. And if you call it maful mutlaq, I have no problems with that. Then you say to him, qawlan layyinan, saying softly. Like, this, there is an emphasis that, whatever you say, whatever you say it softly. And maful mutlaq here is for, not for emphasis, it is for tabyin. Yes or no? Yes? Everyone agrees? Okay. Now, if I say that this whole statement is a quote statement, it is quote unquote qawlan layyinan. It's a quote. Then you say to him, soft word. Can I call it mafulun bihi, that we have labeled it probably as mafulun bihi, right? So the most accurate, there is always the most accurate correct answer. And I have stopped, some people are very they're very straight about, this can be just this, or some there is leave a room. Try not to leave a lot of room. I just want to follow what is going to be most accurate, but at the same time, there is always a small room left in my mind for exceptions. Okay, and I want you to think that way as well. um, Always remember, this is going to be, the most accurate answer. You can start with either mafulun bihi, and that is going to be absolutely correct. The next option, or on, or even on number one, if you want to give it a number one too, I can call it mafule mutlaq. Okay, these are two options that should be there in your mind. Then you say to him, how do you say to him? Very far, very far. Most, now when we are doing it together, then you say to him a soft word, or you say to him, you know um word, that is soft. Maful mutlaq and maful bihi seems the most correct options, right? Do you agree? So, is it clear to all of you? Right? And there always be, there can be, when you have a singularism, when you have a mufradism coming up as hal, you don't need a connector. You remember? For mufradism, you just need to have, um, you don't need a connector. And if it is a masdar, it does not have to conform to number and gender. No, I'm not going. No, that does not, that won't make right sense. No, this layyinan is bringing another color to the whatever has been said. Layyinan has been added. It's a sifa for qawlan. It can be mafule mutlaq lit tanwi, for for the type, for the description, but does not make more sense. It does not make the right sense to, it does not. No. Layyinan is a sifa for qawl. Yeah, qawl. Yeah. Is it clear to all of you? That before I end the session today, I have to go over one thing as well. I want you to look at annaha. Thus, sisters, Diba had this question. Can this be jumlatul haliya? Can this be jumlatul haliya? We have labeled it as fi mahalli rafa and naibul file. For it to be jumlatul haliya, for any inna, for any jumlatul ismiya starting with these haruf nasiba, for any jumlatul ismiya to come up as a hal, it is important that that hamza that is present in the beginning is maksura. It must be having a kasra. If it was inna, that can be, we can think that it can be a hal for whatever, for hibaluhum or wasiyuhum, but because it has a fatha, you should not think about jumlatul haliya. And that is why I was asking you in the last session, but I wanted to cover that as well in this session, but I think we ran out of time, so I will just end the session here. Subhanakallahumma wa bihamdik, nashhadu an la ilaha illa anta, nastaghfiruka wa natubu ilayk. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. And I would like you all to see, if you can look up when you have inna in the beginning of your sentence and when you have anna in the beginning of the sentence, the places of inna and anna, we will cover it in our next session, but you can look it up for yourself so that when you come to the class, you are prepared for it. Okay, inshallah. So, and we can have a good discussion, inshallah. Take care. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.